So the next item is Hello everyone, it's Katie and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing how to create this beautiful flip-flop wreath. All the materials that I'm using for this project are available at Dollar Tree or at dollartree.com, but I will also be including Amazon links in my description box below. That way if you guys are trying to social distance right now, you can go ahead and get all these materials delivered to your doorstep. Also, not all of my materials are from the dollar store, but I have seen them available there before. So again, I will tell you where all my stuff is from, but all of this you can find at the dollar store or the dollar store online. So the first item that you're going to need is obviously a wreath, and I already used mine since I'm filming this after I completed the wreath, but it's going to look something like this. The first item that you will need for a flip-flop wreath is obviously flip-flops. And these in particular came from Walmart, but all the ones that I used on the wreath came from Dollar Tree. The next item is some flowers, and as you can see, this does not have any flowers on it because I already used it. This is the only flower I had left from this after doing this project. But this particular bunch of flowers came from Joann's and it was on sale. But again, the Dollar Tree has a lot of different flowers you can choose from. The next item is a hot glue gun, and of course this is how you're going to make everything stick. And you'll also need some more hot glue gun sticks because I used like 5 at least when I was making this. The next thing is duct tape, and I used this to keep the flip-flops on there even better because sometimes the hot glue wouldn't push all the way down because I had to overlap some of them. So this is really essential and again available at the dollar store. So this next item is some twine, which this is like a burlap texture twine. I got this at Michael's a really long time ago, but I know they'll have string or some sort of item that you can use similar to this at the dollar store. So I have a letter here, and my last name starts with D, so that's why I have this one. And this is going on the front door of my house, so that's why we chose this letter. But you'll see in the video I actually don't use this particular one. I use like a metal one. But both of these came from Joann's, and you can also either make something like this or get something like this from multiple different places. So now that I've showed you guys everything you'll need to make this wreath, let me show you how I did it. So to start out, I'm just getting my materials, which to start is my hot glue gun sticks, the flip-flops, and the wreath. And I used 4 pairs of flip-flops for this wreath. Also, don't mind the messy table. Normally I put down a white poster board so you guys can't see the mess on the table, but in this video, since I was using hot glue, I didn't want to get that on the poster board. To start out, I am putting the flip-flops around the wreath, and I'm just setting them in the order that I want them to go in. And I already planned this out before filming, so that's why you'll see me grabbing specific ones, because I figured out the color order that I want them to go in. So my next step, I started out by picking up each flip-flop and putting down some hot glue directly onto the wire of the wreath, and then I pressed down the flip-flop onto where I just laid down the hot glue. And also, when I had some of the flip-flops overlapping, what I would do is put some hot glue on one of the flip-flops and then attach it. And you can see here I'm putting hot glue on the heel of the flip-flop, that way I can press it up against the flip-flop that's next to it. So you'll just see me hot gluing here, and that's basically all I do until I get all of them glued down. So here I'm adding some more hot glue underneath the flip-flops, and some of them that were overlapping were actually really hard to hot glue down, so I will show you how to reinforce those better in just a minute. So I very carefully flipped over the wreath, and then I added some more hot glue to the back to try to reinforce the flip-flops even more. Next, I cut some pieces of duct tape, and as you can see, I put the duct tape behind the flip-flops and around the wreath just for some added support. And this wreath has been hanging outside on my front door for a few days now, and it's been storming really bad too, and it has held so far. So I think if you do all these steps like I did, you should be perfectly fine. So once I've got all the duct tape on there, I'm basically just pushing them down to make sure that they're in place. So now I went and got the letter for the centerpiece, and if you personally don't want to put a letter on your wreath, you could do flowers or something else for a centerpiece. But I just like having it personalized, so I went ahead and took the tag off and set it where I wanted it to be. So now I'm lifting up the letter and putting hot glue directly on the flip-flops. And as you can see, I'm running out of hot glue, so I had to add another stick. But I'm just putting the hot glue down, and then I will press the letter down onto the hot glue and make sure it sticks. And since hot glue dries pretty quickly, I actually put the hot glue on the top, pressed the letter down, and then lifted it up and poured more hot glue on the bottom, just so that way it wouldn't dry on the top before I could get the bottom part done. So my next step was to take the flowers off of the stems, and you can see here that I'm trying to cut them, and that was actually really difficult to do. And I realized later that you can actually just pull the top of the flower off the stem because it's like two separate pieces, but I was struggling to cut it because I didn't know that before. Once I had all of the flowers cut off their stems, I just began to put flowers wherever I thought they would look best on the wreath. Normally that was in between all of the gaps that I had in between the flip-flops. So once I had all the flowers in place, I then took the butterfly clips that I got and I put those on the straps of the flip-flops. Just using the clip for now, but I will add some hot glue to them later. So now that I have everything in place, I just started to pick up each of the flowers and put down some hot glue on where I'm going to put the flowers at. So sometimes I would put hot glue down on the actual flip-flop, and sometimes I would do it just on the wire. It just depends on what it was closest to and what would hold it best. So of course I'm just going to continue this all the way around the wreath for all of the flowers. I also put hot glue on all of the butterflies too to make sure those stay in place. And once I was done with hot gluing everything, I made sure to hold up the wreath so that way I could make sure that nothing was going to fall off of it. So my final step, once I had everything glued down and secure, was to cut a decently long piece of twine, and then I'm going to tie it to the top of the wreath from the back side. So of course I had to flip it over pretty carefully, and you can see here that I'm just threading it through. the wreath and I'm tying a knot, and I'm doing a double knot just to make sure that it stays. And you'll also see I add some hot glue even to the end of the knot, that way the twine would not swing around too much. And after that, it's ready to be hung up. So this is how my final wreath turned out. I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you did make your own wreath, please tag me on Instagram or any other social media, that way I can see your final product because I would love to see it. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like on this video, subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell, that way you'll know every time I upload a new video. Make sure you check out the links below for the products on Amazon, just in case you're social distancing and you want all of the supplies delivered to your doorstep. You can also check out my social media accounts linked in the description below if you'd like to get a behind the scenes look of videos or projects that I'm making. The Etsy product that I posted this week is this crochet baby blanket. And if you guys are interested in checking that out, my Etsy shop is linked below, as well as that product specifically. If you guys would like to watch more videos, there will be some that I think you may like in the description box below, and there will be some at the end of the video, so make sure you check those out as well. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!